Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señores y señoras, welcome back to the show match today. Nerchio versus HasuObs. It is Nerchio, it is not Dimaga. Once again, Dimaga was not able to show today. Thanks to Strelok, who was able to get him on the phone. I don't know why, I don't know how. I just know that Dimaga was not able to show, and thank you very much for Nerchio to replace him. That's why we have Nerchio against HasuObs in a best of 7 instead of Dimaga versus HasuObs. Now we just saw the first game on Metalopolis. Now we are here on the later edition of Taldarim Altar, and it is game number 2. It will be a best of 7, meaning whoever wins the first 4 out of 7 matches is actually going to win this whole thing. We got a total prize pool of $200. Here in the top right, representing Team Mousesports and himself, we have HasuObs as the yellow Protoss. In the bottom left, representing Acer Gaming, it is Nerchio as the red Zerg. Of course, HasuObs being from Germany, Nerchio being from Poland. Now, by the way, currently, if I'm not mistaken, Germany against Poland in terms of football, and I'm talking football, not soccer, is currently going on, but the score in this game is currently 0 against 0. But in terms of StarCraft, Poland is currently up 1-0. Now here is Nerchio going for his spawning pool, and he's going pool first once again. And in Zerg vs Protoss, he very often goes pool first. Now there is already the forge coming up for HasuObs. He's got his pylon, and he's not taking any risks by going Nexus first or anything like this. He is most likely going to go for a Nexus here pretty soon. The question is the Nexus going to get built before the first cannon? And yes, I think so, and pretty soon we should see a Nexus. And finally, there we go, there's a Nexus and a probe, this scouting probe who scouted out this complete area here of Nerchio should go for the first cannon after the gateway, I think. Now here's the drone by Nerchio moving in, spotting, okay, no surprise, there's a forge, there's a gateway, and there's a Nexus. And lately I saw a lot of Zerg players when I played on the ladder. I'm mid-high diamond player on the ladder. When I went for this forge play, I just got 6-foot like all the time, and then I got even insulted for going a forge play because everyone is doing this. So yeah, looks like not also going for a super long drawn macro game in PvZ, but also there's always a possibility that we see a fast ending game, which also happened on the GSL already twice, that we saw a 6-4 in Zerg vs Protoss here on this map. Now the forge is there, the gateway just finished, cybernetic score coming up, and take a look at this Nerchio, 4 minutes 20 seconds. He is going for the second expansion already, so 3-base Nerchio is what we're going to have on the map pretty soon. Now is HasuObs going to scout? Oh, very nice play here by Nerchio. He just clicked on the mineral lines over here that he was able to attack the probe just right away, and then the Queen was dealing the finishing blow here to the scouting probe. So in that regard, the Queen did a good job. Once again, Dimaga was not able to show today, unfortunately. We got Nerchio as a replacement. I just talked to him like 2 minutes before we were supposed to start, and that's why thanks to him for replacing Dimaga. The rules are the same, it will be a best of 7, there's nothing changed with the prize money, and that's why we have currently Nerchio and not Dimaga playing against HasuObs today. Now here we see this hatchery is about to get finished pretty soon, and now of course Nerchio, because he knows that HasuObs is going all crazy here with the forge first opening, Nerchio just can macro like a crazy person right now, and it's about for us to see where this is going. Will there be just like super Mars Roach Hydra play because he's got the economy out of 3 bases? Is he going for this typical Hydralist play? So there are a lot of possibilities Nerchio can go for, but one thing is absolutely sure right now, that HasuObs is going for the Stargate play. And take a look at this Sacrificial Overlord. Now today is really the day of the super effective Sacrificial Overlords. I was casting the Imber FXO versus Veros Gaming match where for the Incredible Panic Team League, and there Braddock played against Ukraine Star on Telderim Altar, and he just went for a 2-port Banshee play on Terminus Re, and boom, Sacrificial Overlord moves in and basically kills Braddock in the end. Now, we can see that, and this is very, very interesting. It's not only one Stargate, it's also a second Stargate coming up. Here we can see Stargate number 2. The first Void Ray for HasuObs is going to be finished right about now. Do we have a +1 air weapons attack coming up? No, at the moment we don't. He just finished with a warp gate research, and if you're going double Stargate, the +1 air attack is helping out quite a bit, especially for the Phoenixes being a little bit faster with Queens, etc, and Overlords, and of course the Void Ray having 6 and 11 versus Armored compared to the 7 and 11 versus normal units and Armored units compared to the 6 and 10 is helping out quite a bit, of course, as well now. But there's already a Spore Crawler waiting, there's a Queen waiting, so what can HasuObs do? He can take out this Overlord, and that's basically it. Now there we can see the Overlord going down. There the Overlord is going down. Void Ray only takes a little bit of damage. The rest of the Childs will be able to regenerate here. There is a Void Ray number 2 flying over there. 2 Void Rays, of course, will be able to do a little bit more damage. Now there are a lot of Zerglings already out for Nerchio. HasuObs spots that there are a lot of Zerglings on the field, and of course with his remaining Void Rays he is trying to do quite some damage. Now he's continuing to produce units out of those targets, but those are currently Phoenixes and not any more Void Rays. So with a total of 3 Void Rays and some Phoenixes, he might be able to do some damage. But Nerchio, he's got some Spore Crawlers everywhere on the map already. Now trying to take out this Extractor. The Extractor will get cancelled in the last second. At least the Void Rays are charged up. The drone is going down. Another drone goes down. And he needs to really watch out what's up here with the Spore Crawler, because the Spore Crawler with the 400 HP and the +1 armor is doing quite some damage. Now he's checking here at the second expansion, nothing going on, but he knows about this one at the 6 o'clock. There are the Zerglings trying to get in. HasuObs still got enough energy for additional force fields, got a Sentry, a Photon Cannon and a Stalker in the back, so he should be okay in that regard. Phoenix is still trying to catch some Overlords, but currently there's an Overlord and there's another Overlord. Will those units be found by HasuObs remains to be the question for the moment. Now there is a total of 2 Void Rays and 4 Phoenixes over here, with 1 Void Ray just preventing those creep tumors from coming up. Transfer probes get taken out. There's a Spore Crawler not doing too much, and now it's up to the 2 Void Rays to get charged up here on the Roach Roaring, and the Roach Roaring actually could be the Roach Roaring taking out could be quite huge, because there's currently the Roach Speed getting researched. The Roach Speed is most likely not going to get finished. There's even a Transfuse on the Roach Run, doesn't help out too much. The Roach Run goes down, and HasuObs doing quite some damage. Let's take a look at the units lost. We can see Nerchio is behind by 550 resources. Still, those Zerglings are waiting here, not being able to do anything. The follow-up play for HasuObs are some Gate Rays and a Robo with some Colossi. So he's forcing some Hydras, he's forcing some ground units, because Mutas might not be actually the best unit composition to go for, and that's why the Colossus play is such a smart decision here by HasuObs. He's still preventing some mining from going on here at this expansion. The Void Ray is doing a good job here in that regard. Both of these Void Ray got a total of 6 kills now. Both the Spore Crawlers getting rearranged. HasuObs needs to retreat with his units doing this exactly, and there we can see the big army is moving out. There is 1 force field and even another one. The Zerglings and the Roaches trying to do as much damage as possible. Nerchio is now focusing here just on the Cybernetics core. There the Phoenixes moving back. Meanwhile the Void Rays still doing some damage. I'm not too sure about the decision not to pull the Void Rays back. Where's the first Colossus? Here is Colossus number 1 in the back, but with the Cybernetics core being gone, there's not any more stalkers being able to warp in. Yeah, the Phoenix is loaded, lifted up some roaches. Now it's up to the Colossus to take out the remaining roaches, but already Nerchio is doing quite some damage here in the back. Now with the probes and the zealots and the remaining Phoenixes, all those roaches will get taken out. Now the question remains, at what cost? Still, there's another Void Ray flying around here, but with so many Corruptors, this Void Ray is going down. The rocks got taken out, so Nerchio is able to expand once again, and this attack here at the front was helping him out quite a lot, even though he did not kill too many of those probes. Actually, it's still only 8 drones killed against 9 drones killed against 8 probe kills. The supply is still pretty similar, and now HasuObs here with this Colossus Void Ray Zealot Force taking out the rocks, preparing to go for expansion number 2, so he will be at least on 3 bases, but there are so many Corruptors on the field, and of course if you have Colossus and Void Rays, those Corruptors actually will be able to do quite some damage. He's got even more Corruptors in production, more drones in production, and the mass Corruptor decision will be quite a good one. Now there are some Zerglings moving in. Immediately HasuObs cancelling this expansion here at a second location. There are the Corruptors, and there is HasuObs just trying to fly away, loses one Void Ray, loses the other Void Ray, and now it's up to Phoenixes and Stalkers trying to take out as much of those Corruptors as possible. And even though Nerchio takes out the 2 Colossi and the 2 Corruptors, the 2 Colossi and the 2, what are those units called? Void Rays, of course, is what they are called. Nerchio still lost quite a lot of Corruptors himself. Now there's the Nexus coming up once again. HasuObs needs to, I'm not sure if he cancelled this Nexus in time. He needs to make sure that he gets this second expansion up, otherwise he will be in a lot of trouble, because Nerchio will pretty soon be able to out-macro HasuObs, because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 freaking bases up. Even though this base is not fully saturated, or not saturated at all with drones, we can see that he got already the possibility to mine a lot. But in the meanwhile, HasuObs was doing a really good job with continuing to produce probes out of those 2 Nexi. This means he will immediately be able to fully saturate this base here as well. But Nerchio not giving up. Take a look at how many of those Zerglings we can see right here, right now. The +1 attack on those is finished. The +2 just started. The +1 armor is finished here pretty soon. There are the Gateway units, and there's a Colossus coming in. Of course, the Colossus helps out a great deal, but once again, Nerchio was able to force the cancel on this one, and every time this Nexus gets cancelled or even taken out, it's a very, very good deal here for Nerchio. Now HasuObs continues with his Phoenixes to be aggressive, trying to take out some units, trying to buy himself some time, and what is actually the plan of both players? Let's see. We can see that Nerchio is having out 16 Corruptors, 22 Roaches. He's currently getting some Infestors and the Greater Spire, so he's got a lot of economy and a lot of tech going. And he's got the slightly bigger army here with 102 army supply compared to the 89. Now HasuObs, he is currently on the +1 attack upgrade and not going for any more attack upgrades. And not going for the +2 attack or the +1 armor just fast enough might bite him back in the ass later on. Now he's double chrono boosting the +1 attack and the +2 attack and the +1 armor, but this might already be a little bit too late. So now he's trying to buy himself some time, for example by going cannons on the high ground and at the same time maybe using his Phoenixes. Now this pylon over here prevented the saturation from coming up. The drone was immediately picked up, scouting probe got fungled and taken out, and here are the Zerglings moving in just in time. The Overlord was spotting the 2 cannons, and that's why he was forcing a cancel on it. Now the Phoenixes are in a little bit of trouble, actually in a lot of trouble, because of those 16 Corruptors saying, please just get out of my base. But they just showed him the way to another Overlord. Maybe those Phoenixes will be able to catch this other Overlord, and there it is on the left side. It is on the left side, and he takes it out. And will he spot this base? For the moment he did not see it just yet, but looks like HasuObs is moving out. He only got 1 Colossus, and that's it. And this might actually be quite good for him, because with this only one Colossus being out, he makes those remaining Corruptors just basically useless. But not for long, because the first Brute Lords are on the field, and this is the perfect timing here for Nerchio to get out the Brute Lords. And now the Brute Lords of course are attacking. There is HasuObs moving in, but so many Broodlings just prevent so much damage from the Stalkers, because the Stalkers are busy shooting the Broodlings. And now Nerchio suddenly with absolute ease takes out the forces here of HasuObs, just because he's got the Brute Lords, and now he's in a very, very good position. Now 3 more gates are here to protect this base from getting run by it once again, but it's not looking too good for HasuObs. Nerchio being maxed out once again. HasuObs on 130 supply, still not giving up. The +1 armor just finished. The +2 attack finished right now as well. But Nerchio, he's got 7 Brute Lords on the field, and he is going for 7 more Brute Lords, so he will be on 17 Brute Lords. But this also means that he's only on 2 Corruptors right now, and 2 Corruptors, not that good of an army composition in terms of how much anti-air do you actually get. So now HasuObs needs to buy himself some time to get some Void Rays out, and Void Rays is what he's currently getting. But Nerchio did build some Spine Crawlers, he can't build those, and that's why he is currently on a 210 supply. Of course, this means he is currently supply blocked. There are the Stalkers running around. HasuObs with his Observer, he sees all those Brute Lords, he knows where the army of Nerchio is, and Nerchio, of course, he needs to protect his Brute Lords. He cannot leave his Brute Lords alone. And that's why he is just still, even though he's got a lot of fast roaches, a lot of fast Zerglings, still taking his time. Now a scouting Zergling is checking here to make sure that there's no pylon on the high ground, but the pylon is over here. We might have a small engagement, but there is HasuObs just blinking away, and now because of the probes, this means, oh yes, there's a Nexus, and this Nexus is most likely going to get taken out. HasuObs will be forced to cancel everything else. And is he cancelling the Nexus in time? And no, he is not. He's losing it, but there he's moving in with the Stalkers, trying to take out as many Brute Lords as fast as possible. Now here are 2 Void Rays. There are the Void Rays attacking the Brute Lords as well, and not going for the Corruptors, so he tries to just everything possible to take out the remaining Brute Lords. He takes out quite a bit of those guys, but in the end Nerchio's got too much of an economy going, too much stuff, and it looks very, very good for Nerchio. Maybe the decision of HasuObs to move out and attack here at the ramp was not the best one. Maybe he should have just waited to get some High Templars going and go for some nice storms to deal with all the Zerglings and Infestors. Maybe. I mean, he's still hanging in there. Even the Nexus here survived at the 3 o'clock. He's on 4 base versus a 5 base Zerg. Still not that big. But the supply difference is actually quite big. The harvester count being nearly the same means the army supply with 121 versus a 34 looks way, way in favor for Nerchio. And will he most likely be able to take game number 2? I absolutely think so. Remember, it will be a best of 7. Dimago was not able to play because, I don't know, he just was not showing up. Strelok was able to help us out, providing this information. That's why Nerchio was able to move in and be a replacement. Now, there are the Corruptors. They just take out the Void Rays. The Broodlings basically do the rest, and now with all the Zerglings and Roaches streaming in, more Brute Lords getting built. This game number 2 is basically over as well. Still, HasuObs is trying to go with a small counter attack here, but 7-8 Stalkers are simply not enough to deal with this. So we should see a GG any second now, and then we will go into game number 3, and game number 3 will be played on Antigua Shipyard, which is one of the new maps. And I'm really, really looking forward to this one. So some more feedbacks going on the Overseers, for example. This one, Overseers, survived for 38 HP. Now there are some High Templars out, but those High Templars are a little too late. At least the Stalkers were able to kill this hatchery over here at the 6 o'clock. We got 1 more Void Ray in production, but so also we got 5 more Ultras, and some more upgrades here for Nerchio coming up. So supply is 194 versus an 83. There's the GG, and Nerchio takes game number 2 over HasuObs as well, and we are going into game number 3. Just a second, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señores y señoras, welcome back. It is game number 3 between Nerchio and HasuObs. Like 95% of you already know this, but for the other 5% who just tuning in, Dimaga unfortunately was not able to show today. That's why we are going to see Nerchio replacing Dimaga today. The rules are the same, the prize money is the same, the maps are the same. So, I mean, I am happy that I was able to find such a good replacement in the last second. And that's why we have Nerchio now playing against HasuObs. Nerchio here spawning as the red Zerg at the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock location. Once again going for pool first. We can see that in the top left location HasuObs here is the blue Protoss this time. Looks like maybe yellow was not his lucky color, maybe blue is the color he likes to go for. Is going for Forge first play once again. Of course, this is the only ramp he has to watch out for, so going for some Forge first play is actually, of course, quite a good thing to go for. Now, there we can see the Nexus already coming up, the 2 probes chasing this drone array. Nerchio here going for his first hatchery, and HasuObs might actually go for a pylon maybe over here and build a cannon just to go for some distraction action. But since Nerchio is going for the pool first, of course this is not going to be so successful. You only can do this actually against Zerg players who want to go hatchery first. Now here are the Zerglings. The Zerglings are not moving up the ramp. Here is some destructible rocks for expansion number 2, which Nerchio is most likely going to take pretty soon. There is HasuObs waiting with some probes. He wants to prevent those Zerglings from getting in. There is a cannon doing some damage, but not doing enough damage, and 4 of those Zerglings are actually able to get in. This cannon placement is not the best. He should have placed this cannon here, and this makes Nerchio able to just force a lot of probes to deal with those Zerglings. The Zerglings are in good shape, 2 full health, 1 nearly full health, and 1 only at half HP, so the Zerglings will be able to do quite some damage. This also means that HasuObs is losing quite some mining time. He's got a Zealot out pretty soon, and with the Zealot out, he will be in a good position to deal with those Zerglings, but still the Zerglings taking out 1, 2, 3, 4 of the probes with only losing 1 Zergling. So he just killed stuff worth 200 minerals, and he lost stuff worth 25 minerals, and this is absolutely huge. Nerchio getting a big lead early on in the game, and he is going for the second expansion over here, so Nerchio absolutely knows what he's doing against the Forge first Protoss. Now there is a 1 Zergling going down, and finally the second one, so all the Zerglings are dead. But let's take a look at the damage done. 6 probes in total died, and this is not only units worth 450 resources, this is also so much lost mining time, and Nerchio must be feeling very good about it. So he's mining gas out of 1, 2 extractors, no extractors over here, no extractors most likely over here, no there are none, just more drones, more queens. And you know what I would really like to see from HasuObs? I would like for him to get the +1 upgrade. I would like to get 6 gateways, get a lot of sentries, get a lot of stalkers, some zealots, and then just go for it. This is what I would really like to see. Just not let Nerchio be able to just go for such a good long and drawn out macro game, because as soon as you let Nerchio macro a little bit too much, I mean, it's quite a long time ago since I last saw him losing a game where he was just able to macro like he wants to usually macro. Now, one thing though which is really important, HasuObs was able to spot the space. He was even with a Zealot in here, he took out some drones, he killed 2 drones. This is of course a very interesting thing. And now once again, if you might be asking why is there Nerchio as a replacement and not, for example, Strelok, who was offered by himself or Dimaga or both to play instead, is that I asked HasuObs about it because I told HasuObs that he's going to play Dimaga, and he said he prepared for a Protoss versus Zerg. So I actually absolutely can understand this, and I was in the mood to cast a Protoss versus Zerg. I was expecting force fields, overlords and stuff, and I was not just preparing for Protoss versus Terran. That's why we have Nerchio as a Zerg player replacing Dimaga, and not Strelok, for example, as a Terran player replacing Dimaga. But speaking of Strelok, there will be more show matches coming up, including Strelok. So there's one more thing I would like to talk about before the action really starts here, is I got a really funny show match coming up. Being part of the Showmatch Palooza series, it is going to be a best of 11 Terran versus Terran with Goody. Yeah, you heard right, it's only for the tough guys and girls who are able to withstand a lot of long drawn out games. I will be making some time. This event is going to start in 9 days at a Friday, a best of 11 featuring Goody against another Terran player. And for this event I'm currently looking for some sponsors, so if you want to help me out a little bit with some prize money, make sure to message me or check my Facebook page, facebook.com/specialAndre. And yeah, this is some weird shit, I know, but Goody versus Terran should be an interesting and awesome match if you're into this weird kinky stuff. Anyhow, let's just focus on this game and on the numbers at the moment. 59 drones currently here for Nerchio, transferring some more over to the second expansion. Currently 51 for HasuObs. HasuObs is not just yet trying to get the space. Nerchio here with a circling. He knows what's up in that regard. The current supply is a 91 for Nerchio, a 70 for HasuObs, and we can see HasuObs looks most likely going for the standard play, getting some gateway out, getting gateway units out, getting some Colossi out, and looks like this could be it. There's a chrono boost here on the robotics bay to get this thermal lens upgrade a little bit faster, and there the Zerglings took out the rocks to access. Actually, I'm not sure why they took out the rocks. I know now. But assuming HasuObs walks in here and tries to take out this base and force fields this ramp, he allows Nerchio allows himself to take in here and go for a possible flank attack. Now, by the way, HasuObs is saying double robo all the way. There's robo number 1, there's the second one, and he's going double Colossi. But there's a small engagement going on, not too much is happening right now. HasuObs is now moving out because he wants to secure himself a third base, and he's doing this right about now. At the same time, we can see that at the center of the map, here at the southern gold expansion, Nerchio is getting another base up. He is also going for some more infestors. He's got a 5 on the field, he's got 3 more, and the neural parasite coming up. HasuObs here with his observer, once again a very good placement, knows what's up in that regard. He's also going, Nerchio is also going for the hive. He's currently on 1, 2, 3, 4 hatches. There's a macro hatch here next to the natural expansion, and with this hatchery being finished, he actually will be at 5 hatches. Now, what I would like to see is actually HasuObs adding a DT shrine, because DTs are a very good unit to deal with bases which are a little bit more far away from the main base. There are currently no spore crawlers at all, so making those DTs even more effective. Nerchio looks like he is going to go for even another expansion number 1, 2, 3, 4, putting him on 5 bases and 6 hatches in total. Now, take a look at all those Zerglings and the infestors. So, mass infestor Zergling it is. I mean, those infestors will be able to neural parasite those Colossi, so it's actually up to HasuObs to make use of this kind of army composition just by getting maybe some High Templars to feedback the infestors. Maybe go for some blink stalkers to blink into these infestors and prevent the neural parasite from going on any longer. or just get more Colossi to just have more stuff so it doesn't actually matter, so he still has some free Colossi left where he can just roast and toast the remaining units, because all those units he's having are quite vulnerable. And did you remember that I was talking about DTs earlier? And look at how smart Nerchio is, going for the Spore Crawler over here and the Spine Crawler over there next to it, so he will be having out enough anti-DT defensive at this gold at least. Now with this hatchery being finished and Nerchio already getting the extractors, he will be having quite a good gas income. Still, HasuObs here with his overseer, with his observer, knows what's going on. Nerchio currently on the +2 attack, the +1 armor, is now getting the +3 attack, finishing with the +2 armor, and he's got the insane amount of 8 Ultralisks in production. Ultralisks against Predators is a unit which I really like. Not as a Protoss player, because I'm fucking afraid of them, but in combination with some fungal growth, preventing those stalkers and remaining units from just running away, suddenly those Ultralisks can just really, just literally chew through the Protoss army. Now here we already have Archon in play. This means that there is either a Templar Archives or a Dark Shrine, and the Templar Archives it is on the field for a moment. Now just imagine if there would be 1 or 2 storms available. Those storms would just really tear those Zerglings apart, but this is not going to happen. But here we have the big engagement in the middle force fields getting casted. There's a neural parasite on a lot of those Infestors, but the Infestors get taken out quite fast. The Zealots do take a lot of damage, allowing the Immortals in the back to actually take out the remaining Ultralisks, and suddenly HasuObs takes out nearly the complete army here of Nerchio, making him able to take out this gold expansion as well. Look at how fast the Spore Crawler, the Spine Crawler are going down. Newly popped out Zerglings will get taken out right away. Now HasuObs needs to make sure that the reinforcements of Nerchio won't kill him right away, because the supply is still pretty much the same, 178 with us 173, and now there is actually a small run-by happening. The Ultralisks and the Zerglings trying to take out the Nexus once again. Not having this Nexus might actually be pretty hurtful for HasuObs, and indeed it is. He loses the Nexus in the last second. Did he also lose all of his probes? No, he did not. He was sending those probes away just in time, because he is currently going for another Nexus, but there are already the Zerglings trying to go for a run-by. In the last second, HasuObs goes for the complete wall-off. The Zerglings were not able to just get in time, and he sends a Zergling kill squad consisting of Archons and Zealots over there to this location at the same time. Zergling once again trying to go for a run-by, not being too successful in that regard. This base has been taken out, so this base is still there, as well as this, putting Nerchio in terms of income still in a better position. We can compare the incomes actually to each other, and the more red you see, the more it looks better for Nerchio. But enough with this, let's focus on this game right now once again, because we might have another battle coming up. Of course the Observer is still standing around over here. The Zerglings trying to get in here, Stalker helping out in the back, and there are more Infestors going for Neural Parasite. There are more Ultralisks at the front, but I think HasuObs really needs to watch out. He doesn't have too much stuff tanking the Ultralisks, but still he continues to move in. The Archons helping out a great deal. They don't take any extra additional damage from the Ultralisks, so he continues to march in. Nice fungal on the Zealots and on the Ultralisks, but more Infestors get taken out. More reinforcement Zealots, still without the charge, but with a lot of abilities to tank damage moving in, and HasuObs continues his march to the main base, to the natural expansion here of Nerchio. The Colossi doing quite a good damage, and there are still some Ultralisks coming in from the back, and now HasuObs actually might have overcommitted a little bit, but more Zealots moving in. He's doing a very good, patient Colossus micro, making sure that none of his Colossi are actually going down, but it's up to the Ultralisks to do more damage. Still, HasuObs tries to snipe more Infestors. There are some more Zealots and High Templars being warped up here, warped down here on the low ground. Another Archon is coming in, but for the moment he averted the worst, but this Nexus is under attack. HasuObs got this pile, and he needs to warp in 1 or 2 Zealots to prevent this Nexus from going down once again. Finally he was able to go for this Nexus over here, and Nerchio still is not too bad in a position. The unit's loss tab is currently telling us that units that Nerchio lost so much more resources in worth in terms of army composition. Once again trying to go for a one by. There are still the pylons over here, and now it's up to HasuObs to go for some nice force fields. One force field already there, a second force field in the back. Now there's a Colossus, and now with a second Colossus all those Zerglings will die. Averting the worst for the moment. Still some Zerglings are here, but now those Zerglings go down. Still with pulling back his army, he needs to watch out that there's not another one by going to happen pretty soon. He takes out one additional pylon to just be able to move out with his units. Maybe one or two cannons here in the back wouldn't hurt at all, and looks like Nerchio is able to catch up this single Immortal. Of course, an Immortal worth 350 resources in total. Losing this just right away is not what you want to have. Now let's take a look at the supply for the moment. 150 for Nerchio, 136 for HasuObs. Like I told you, HasuObs can play very, very cost effective, but at the same time Nerchio is just macroing like a crazy person. Look at all those other bases he's got up, and that's why I'm not really approving of the decision of HasuObs to move in directly here. Maybe move in over over here to this second expansion would have been a better choice, and there we can see some Zerglings and some Infestors over here. There's some more neural parasites going on. HasuObs needs to focus down on the Infestors. He's currently not just yet doing it, but there the Zealots and the Archon in the back doing this right away. He needs to get up to the high ground with the Colossi. There's another neural parasite, and HasuObs is immediately focusing the Archon with a +3 attack, of course dealing a great deal of damage against biological units. Is still be able to hold this attack off? Still the question remains, at what cost? Because he just simply does not have the economy to just keep producing so much stuff, but Nerchio does. He's got the production, he's got the economy, he's got 8 hatches with 14 more lava available, and looks like he wants to just break up the front. Now bring in an Ultralist to prevent any force fields from happening. This is such a smart and good play. Boom, suddenly the force field is lost, and this single photon cannon will not be able to do much. So HasuObs going crisis mode, putting up some gateways. Now having the Colossi here on the high ground is helping out a great deal to just kill more and more stuff, but there's the Ultralist moving in. So HasuObs really needs to be very careful where he's moving with his unit. The Ultralist trying to focus down the Nexus will not be able to do so, at least for the moment. Still HasuObs needs more probes over here, but as soon as he tries to move some probes over to this third expansion, suddenly, boom, Nerchio can move in with his Zerglings and his Ultras, and Nerchio knows this, and this is exactly where he's at. There are the Infestors moving in, fungling 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 probes, takes them out right away. Very, very good play by him. Feedback on the Infestor, not allowing him to go for anything more. Another feedback kills another Infestor. Still those probes moving over here. 11 probes, and I think not all of them, but some of them will definitely go down, and actually all the probes survive. Now we have another Infestor here, another High Templar here, but the Ultralist, well, they might be in a little bit of trouble, because 4 Ultras and 4 of those Infestors over here. And why is HasuObs not moving in? He needs to move in fast, he needs to react fast, because there are the forces in the back moving in, and now he had a good chance of taking out those remaining units, but there are suddenly more Infestors moving in, going for mass neural parasites, so every single unit is getting neural parasited. The Ultralists take out everything else, and HasuObs not paying too much attention. He was just in a very good position. He was winning many, many battles. He was playing, and still is playing, so cost effective, but moving in here at the natural expansion instead of the second expansion, and just not completely making sure that he's not too vulnerable against run-bys by Nerchio, counter-attacks by Nerchio. He gave his game away, but because I don't see a way how he can come back to this. Nerchio on his 6 bases is just getting too much stuff. He's playing cost ineffective, but he doesn't care, because he knows he just needs to throw money at the problem. Not always, but sometimes this is actually a good way to deal with things, and suddenly Nerchio might be able to take the 3-0 lead here against HasuObs. But we saw what HasuObs is capable of playing cost effective, and 16 probes will not get fungled. More Zealots getting attacked moving in here. There's the even buried Infestors, Immortal not just get taken out right away because GG is called, and Nerchio, by the way, with another counter attack here at the second expansion, is going to take the 3-0 lead against HasuObs. I was not expecting such a one-sided series so far, but still everything is possible, even though it's not too easy for HasuObs right now. He needs to win 4 games in a row. So we have a 2-minute break and then we can get going with game number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, I just did not start the I did not start the VOD recording.